You ever see bulldozers roll onto your lawn and think, there's no way this is real life? That was me one Tuesday morning, just standing there, mouth open, as a demolition crew started clearing my lakefront grass, like maybe some intern mixed up addresses or the city lost its mind. But then I saw her. Karen Hastings, president of our precious HOA legs, crossed in my own Adirondack chair, sipping iced tea, her grown daughter beside her like they'd just bought waterfront property in the Hamptons. Right then, something inside me snapped, not in an action movie way, more like a man who suddenly realizes nobody's coming to save him. Karen turned and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "You're gonna love this view, Madison. Always knew this place would be perfect for you." I'm still in my work boots, fishing gear stacked by the porch dog bowl on the deck, and they're acting like my life is a set they just bought at auction. I walk up heart pounding and say, "Excuse me, what exactly is going on here?" Karen flashes that smile she saves for mugshots. "Oh, Greg, didn't you get the notice? This lot was reclassified as part of the HOA green zone. My daughter Madison's the new occupant, all above board." Above board? She basically gifted my lake cabin to her kid like it was a scarf she forgot at brunch. Technically, the board voted. You missed the last meeting. Madison gave me this little wave, yeah, the kind you give the UPS guy. Already decorating inside. Hope you don't mind, Greg. I felt my hands ball up, but I just turned and walked to my truck, making one promise: I'm gonna fence every inch of this land. Not just the cabin, the whole property, all the way up to their landscaping company next door. But before I could get a plan together, something crazier happened. Let me back up a sec. I'm Greg Parker, 52 contractor, been fixing up my dad's old cabin since forever. Dad built it in '63 before HOAs turned neighborhoods into country clubs. Karen Hastings, she runs the HOA like it's the Pentagon and treats the bylaws like scripture. Her daughter Madison, 27, works for Karen, drives a Jeep with pink eyelashes, has the personality of a wine glass that says, "But first, brunch." Used to be, Karen and I were neighborly until she found out my place was technically outside HOA jurisdiction, grandfathered in. No dues, no paint approval, didn't have to show up at meetings, drove her absolutely nuts. So for years, Karen waged this passive-aggressive war, filing noise reports, griping about my dog barking, suggesting every property be reevaluated for fairness. I figured it was just HOA nonsense until she played the ultimate power move, some rezoning trick. Now my property's part of the greenway and her kids squatting in my home. 2 days later, I get a letter from the HOA legal team, my property absorbed into the shoreline greenway for beautification. Madison qualifies for temporary residential assignment. I have 72 hours to clear out. My dad's legacy gone like a sock in a dryer. I started parking at the lake at sunrise, just watching. Saw Madison toss my old canoe in the dumpster. Instead of losing it, I called my cousin Jake, a surveyor. "Bring the original deed," I told him. We spent hours walking the property line stakes, orange tape, the old map from the '60s. Turns out my property stretches way past the cabin, right up to the back wall of Karen's business. No easement, no negotiation. I could fence the whole thing off, and I had a legal right. So I did what any stubborn contractor would. I filed for a permit. Smiled at the city clerk when she warned, "This runs right up to Hastings Garden Company, right?" But before I could start, I found my cabin door ripped off, everything trashed, my dad's old rifle, missing family photos, shredded, spray paint on the wall. "Stay away. This isn't yours anymore." Pink paint dripping like blood. Rascal, my dog, wouldn't even cross the threshold. It was personal now. Madison's Jeep was still running out front, paint can in the back. Karen popped up, hat and smoothie in hand, looking like she was posing for a magazine. "You broke in," I told her, "or your daughter did. I'm calling the sheriff." She just laughed. "Let's not be dramatic, Greg. You're lingering. It's best to let go of the past." She gestured to the wrecked door like she was giving me a home tour. "Besides, it's your word against ours. No cameras, no witnesses." I stared at her. Really stared. "You think you're untouchable." Karen just smiled. "No, Greg. I know I am. What she didn't get is you don't mess with a man who builds things for a living. We know how to plan. I started recording every conversation. When she threatened me, I had it on tape. Sheriff Tate, my dad's old fishing buddy, looked at the evidence and said, "File the report, but build your fence." I did. Hired my own crew. We started at dawn. By noon, 20 steel posts were set. Rascal had his own patch, and a sign out front read, "This is still my home." Karen came flying up screaming about business harmony. I showed her the permit and map. She looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. When she slapped my phone out of my hand, a deputy saw the whole thing. Karen got a formal warning. That fence went up faster than a rumor at bingo night. Their trucks lost their shortcut. Clients got mad, and Karen was begging me to stop. I said, "Hand me my keys, sign a public apology. Maybe I'll consider." Instead, I got an HOA notice. I was banned from all community events. Below it in pink ink, "You'll be gone by summer." Let's just say I got a lawyer. Before we could meet, my dad's canoe turned up half burned, sinking in the lake. If that's not a message, I don't know what is. My lawyer, Davis, was a shark. "They've built part of their warehouse on your land," he said. "We'll serve a notice of encroachment. Or you could just build whatever you want, maybe a shed, a billboard." 3 days later, I had a jet black metal shed right up against their back lot. "Private property trespassers will be prosecuted. HOA not recognized," painted on the side. Karen and Madison arrived. "Lost it" threats egged my truck. Rascal barking all night. Didn't matter. I was dug in. Then something shifted. I posted my story in the local forum, photos, letters, the whole drama. It blew up. Folks messaged me, neighbors, old employees of Karen's, even an ex-HOA board member named June Wilkins. We met at the Marina Diner. June was tired of Karen's corruption. She slid me a folder, emails, meeting minutes, proof they faked Madison's application, forged votes. "Take this to the county," she said. "Force her out." The next day, Madison, red-faced, shattered my windshield in a parking lot meltdown right in front of a deputy. She was cuffed on the spot. Suddenly, neighbors who'd been silent started calling me. "Greg, what can we do?" With June's evidence, Davis and I filed complaints. County board, civil court, state licensing. Karen retaliated with lawsuits, but the county scheduled a hearing. At the hearing, Karen tried to play the victim. "Greg bullied us, ruined Madison's health," but the evidence was too much. Forged documents, illegal votes, vandalism, video of Madison's attack. Karen was suspended on the spot pending investigation. As I left, I found a fresh city zoning notice on my door. Karen's last trick, trying to force a public sale of my land for commercial use. For a moment, I felt hopeless. Was this ever going to end? June showed up, coffee in hand, and just sat with me. "She filed her last lever," June said. "But you show them this favor's been repaid. Then you take everything she used and turn it into a sword." I rallied the neighbors, petitioned the city, met with a local reporter, aired Karen's dirty laundry. When the city council met, the room was packed. I told them about my dad's legacy, the lies, the intimidation, the burned canoe. The council denied Karen's rezoning petition. Applause drowned her out. But the story wasn't done. The next morning, Madison showed up at my porch, eyes red, holding a manila envelope. "It's about your father's deed," she said, voice shaky. Inside, a 1979 amendment giving conditional protection. My dad had locked the land against any transfer or rezoning without his heirs' consent. Karen had known all along but buried it, hoping I'd give up. With Davis, we filed a retroactive injunction. 2 days later, officials showed up at Karen's business, tagging everything on my land for removal. Karen showed up, wild-eyed, screaming, "I built this neighborhood." I told her, "Now it belongs to everyone, not just you." She collapsed, not fainted, just broken, all the fight, gone. I rebuilt the cabin, restored the grounds, invited everyone for a picnic. No HOA permission. Kids fished, neighbors laughed. Madison quietly served lemonade. Summer faded to fall. The new HOA president was fair meetings, turned friendly. Karen disappeared, moved away, maybe finding a place where no one knew her story. One last letter came, no return address, just Greg. Karen admitted she'd once been friends with my dad, that she'd lost her way, but she'd always known I belonged. I sat with that a long time. In the end, I turned the back lot into a garden. Neighbors called it Parker Patch. Madison showed up every week, quietly helping, never asking for credit. People ask if I'd do it all again. Yeah. Because you don't just fight for land, you fight for legacy, memory, meaning. That's how you change a community. And if you're reading this, maybe you've been pushed by a Karen or two yourself. So tell me, when it comes to standing your ground or letting it go, where do you draw the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's hear what justice means to you.